Nautilus could be around.
Good base now.
Yep. Okay, nice.
NT.
I'm coming.
I'm basing. Let's match what's it?
Nice.
Looking good for Wales so far, but the trade 1 for 1. And now the knockdown comes through. BeanJ obliterates, and Artemis is here to clean things up. No one's going to have it up in time either, so it's time to look. Oh, the knockback onto Adam. He's pulled into the enemy team. He's got a bit of sustain though. Walks away with his life for now. Rock not so lucky. Artemis charges in for a second. Crownie jumping forward, but that might have been a mistake as he's shut down.
Team Wales take down Team BDS to even out the series at 1-1. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody else, we have a series on our hands. And I'm going to dive straight into some of the more exciting plays that we saw in game number 2. Starting with Artemis, a player that, Mark, you specifically called out as one of the danger players here for Team Wales. We got a little bit of a reel, so let's talk about how and why this new look Ezreal took down the old Ezreal.
Yeah, this is definitely doesn't play like Ezreal if you look at the two champions this game. I was really hyped on Artemis because mechanically he's very, very good. Decision making, sometimes you can debate it. I think especially the front line, the top side, was one of the things we were critical of potentially. That's what went wrong in game 1. This time around, much more stable top side. They were able to scale until the point where Kai'Sa could start making plays, and he was really, really good at finding his opportunities to go in and continue to spoon feed himself a lot of these kills.
Oh, absolutely, and he made the most of his moments. But I also think, like, you play into the Ezreal, right? So it's not like BDS was trying to put a lot of pressure on the bot side. They quite clearly wanted to just feed off of Adam's pressure, and that made it a very difficult thing when Adam then died to Artemis, and Artemis started taking over the game. Didn't die a single time, 90% kill participation. The team was rallying around him, playing around him, and making decisions around him. Artemis basically was this entire game, and he completely got Crownie in it.
Beautiful play, not only from Artemis, but this time around on the Renekton, Adam didn't have the early game impact from the top lane. So, with that being neutralized, we saw Glory slowly pulling a little further ahead. Glory's one of the players that Gulpog was hyping up and looking at as one of the potential dangers, and his Syndra signature pick manages to have an impact.
Yeah, I mean, not so much his signature in the essence of most played, but still a champion he's very good at playing. And
Impactful
I think that,
pick, rather.
Yeah, exactly. And he had a very good laning phase, super solid. He got leads again, but I also have to be a bit more critical on Nuke and Sheo in this game specifically, because I do think that Nuke made a lot of bad decisions. I do think that it was not necessarily gifted over, but Glory was outperforming him here. But I also think that Sheo in the setups for example, Rift Hired, when we're looking into the fights, even when Adam gets a kill, they still start a preemptive fight. They start dying when they have priority that they can play around. And you can see it here in this bird's eye view. Adam is pushing Sparda in. Adam is making sure that they get priority. You have Nuke and Crownie making up, so you're making a conscious decision of getting your entire team up here for this Rift Hell fight. The best you can do right now is let Adam do his thing and then rally together. But Sheo's kind of hovering in a place where they don't have mid lane priority, where there's no vision, and you can see they just move in and straight up will just engage him in a moment. He's feeling overconfident because Adam's getting a kills, but Crownie's in mid lane, Nuke's in mid lane. It's so easy for them to turn on Sheo right here. They have Syndra, they have Nautilus. If you're a bit more patient with this prey, it becomes so much easier to navigate, but they just pull the trigger too early, and once Adam finally joins the fight, it's too late. It's just better team play for Team Wales in general.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see them be able to jump on that, but like you said, it's all predicated off the fact that Sheo had way too far up the river. There's no reason for him to be face checking effectively these double pink wards down there. And I think if you told me that we're going to get one series to go to the three games.
Yep.
This would have been my last one predicted, I think. The fact that GAM lost to Loud and now you have BDS going to the full series versus the second seed, Team Wales, it's very strange. And
I want to build on that in a second. Because I also think, keep in mind that both of these teams, it is their first World Championship appearance, first international appearance as a team, as a squad, right? I'll dive into the extrapolation of that in a moment. Let's quickly round out this game with the Baron fight. 24 minutes, BeanJ, his Viego pops off. And I think part of the reason I also want to highlight this is just looking at the impact that BeanJ was able to have this time around versus game one.
I have to be critical of this wall from Nuke as well, because straight up sailing into a fight like this is completely blowing it apart. You build a priority in the beginning, you had the first move, you can play around the wall in terms of splitting the enemy team apart. Instead, you just fully send yourself in there, and yes, BeanJ, absolutely beautiful performance in this fight when he possesses the rail and takes over the team fight, but it's still BDS really clawing themselves in there in a bad spot. And as soon as this happened, I mean, it's all Team Wales. Despite how close the game still was, some of the base races, or not base race, but the base defense later, this was still a game that Team Wales should win and will win and did win.
Yeah, really impressive to see them kind of have to win in the mid to late game portions, because I feel like that's a lot of the times where people get critical of some of the minor regions play, but the fact that they were able to have really good objective control to force BDS off of so many free objectives. They had 3 dragons for BDS, and then they never got another look at one. The Barons were taken for free. They grabbed a ton of new towers as well for free. So that was a really impressive level of control that you usually don't see.
From 20 to 24 minutes, I still lived under the hopium banner that BDS could pull it back. I didn't fully... After that Baron fight we just watched, I then knew we were going to game 3. I felt it intrinsically. You can see from the way they're playing. Mark, I want to come back to what you were saying, but I want the play-ins bracket to be pulled up as well, because obviously it's sitting at 1-1. For these two teams that are competing, their first World Championship, we need to find out who will be advancing to face off against Flying Oysters and who will be dropping down to face Detonation Focus Me. Coming into the day, I was 100% aligned. This is going to be a 2-0, maybe the first series, maybe, right? But after what we've seen, now you start to go, the pressure's on, right? I think that was a clean win in Game 2 from Team Wales, and I'm nervous here.
Yeah, I mean, even throwing in the World Qualifying Series, this is the first time that a series has actually had a different winner. Everything else has been sweeps the whole way through. Golden Guardians got absolutely decimated by BDS, and so see Wales as the first team to really throw a counterpunch is really, really impressive.
And for the sake of VCS, I'm really hoping that they can ride this momentum going into the next game, and this is also going to be a test for BDS at the same time. We haven't seen them lose yet. When BDS rode their high in spring when they were performing so well, everything collapsed as soon as they lost one game against Mad Lions in the finals. They kind of tilted off the face of the earth and couldn't come back in the series. I'm wondering what that looks like now. This is where you want to see the improvement of a team that's almost had half a year since then to this point in time now. And they are this is realistically a game that they need to win to qualify to the Swiss stage. Last time they lost to Mad Lions, they lost out on MSI. So it's a very important game.
You do still have the lower bracket, right? But it's more, I think, in terms of what the expectations are, the performance.
Absolutely.
And there's way more pressure on Team BDS, in my opinion, coming into this game, especially when we've heard from the players already. BDS selected red side. You can see them sitting down, so we are going to be getting for picks and bans shortly. But I mean, Mark, put yourself in their heads. Like, what would you anticipate from this as kind of the neutral party here?
Well, I think they played 2 games of blue side so far, so the fact that they're going to red side, to me, seems like they're saying we want to give Adam a little bit more options in how he wants to counterpick potentially, because I don't think it seems like the mid lane counterpicks are going to be all that important. It seems like Crownie is mostly going to be playing control mages, and the most you're going to get is a slightly advantageous control mage matchup.
Here's what I think is going to happen. I think there's no way Crownie's coming out of this game and saying I want to play another Ezreal into Xayah game. Give me something I can actually play the game in and then actually give him a champion.
One of the carries.
I think at the same time as well, you just give Nuke one of the Syndra, Sears, and Orianna. The trifecta that's worked so well for him, that is literally meta right now that you should be playing as well. And I understand, Leah, if you have good setup with it, that you can play around it, but when you can't snowball it and when you fall behind like this, it doesn't offer as much as any other control mage that can still scale fine into the game and find that hyper shockwave
very
scatter.
I love the idea of getting scaling advantage for BDS. That's what they're great at this whole time. And the last game, it was actually Team Wales who had the scaling advantage as the game went on and on.
I want a yes or no. This is the Neo broadcast. We're covering Team BDS. Do you believe they will win Game 3?
No!
Do you believe
screw
they'll win
BDS?
Game 3?
They beat Golden Guardians.
Well, screw Maxi. BDS will win.
You've heard the yeses and nos from the analyst desk. We're going to head over to the casters to round out Game 3 in the series.
Thanks very much, guys. I love the straight up hate coming out from Mark.
I think our analysts are really focused on the analysis, and there's no feelings involved.
Definitely.
No hurt feelings, definitely.
I feel like Mark is channeling the entire NA fan base right now in wishing the downfall.
He's
of
doing
BDS.
more damage to BDS than GG ever could.
Well, that's true and brutal from a fellow American as well. That's gotta hurt. That's gotta hurt.
I flip-flop. Look, the second I go back to NA, it's just like spouting out all the praise, and it's wherever I am, you know.
Yeah. You're a flip-flopper. That's the name of
That's
it. But
me.
I will say they are comfortable when you're at the beach. BDS versus Team Wales here. Team Wales coming back in game number 2. Fantastic in the late game. Our analyst is saying they want a bit more scaling from BDS, and I can see where they're coming from there.
I hear
'Cause
that.
It does feel like the early game is pretty favored towards BDS so far, regardless in both games. So if you can have a little bit more scaling, then you can contest what Team Wales were succeeding in game number 2.
And I think if we hone in on the draft, because like the desk was talking about, BDS did choose red side for the first time this series. I think it is bot lane priority that skyrockets for them. Like last game, they went for the first pick Renekton. I think we're going to be seeing like the Xayah, maybe a first rotation over from them on red side, which is something Team Wales have to be considering themselves.
Happy birthday, dude in the crowd.
Feels birthday, man.
Let's have some happy birthdays in the chat for person in crowd.
Is it your birthday? Can you actually ask for Adam Olaf if it's not your birthday? Because like I see other signs that are asking for all these things. I feel like come on, we can't deliver on all of those, right?
I just love how many signs Adam gets. Like, you know that you're a player that's building up a decent fan base when everyone in the audience has a sign with your name on it. Like, that's got to feel good for Adam.
I like it. I feel like every player at World should just take this under advisement. Just start picking some crazy champions.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, oh, you know, Nuke instead of Talia, what if you play some Teemo mid lane? I bet there's some signs tomorrow.
I mean, look, that's what Doing B did. I mean,
that's so valid, and then he just wins.
Kind of success. That's what Caps has done a lot of the time. He plays all sorts of wacky stuff. Although less like often. I guess he just plays a lot of stuff as opposed to specific weird stuff.
Plays that Sejuani mid lane. That's another breed right there.
It's the Vayne mid. The Vayne mid is the one for me. With
yeah, the duality of man.
Trust
either
me, boys.
Sejuani or Vayne mid lane. Okay. That is wild. But yeah, honestly, this is obviously big, important matchup. Lose and you're not necessarily out, but it does drastically reduce your chances here with double elimination in the new World format. But I will say, all things considered, BDS going over to red side, I think this adds that extra wrinkle in terms of bot lane priority, counter pick maybe being saved for Adam instead of just going for that blind Renekton. Like, come on, let's give us the Darius, let's give us the Olaf, all these things. Yeah. And how many of those bans can he attract from the blue-sided Team Wales?
That's going to be the question. What can he pull off here in the draft? Do we get Adam on a carry once again? Although, I mean, Renekton arguably a carry, but
it's just boring.
It's not Adam's like, I'm going to dominate top lane carry, you know?
Yeah, it's I'm going to win top lane, but I'm not going to make you want to uninstall, you know? Which
instantly.
Is probably more reasonable.
The Maokai from Sheo banned away. The Orianna as well that the analyst desk were praying wouldn't be banned away from Nuke is taken off the board as well. We'll see. And there we go. The Darius going to be gone as well. So very, very targeted bans here coming out from Team Wales.
Yeah, not too surprising. Actually, the Xayah is what BDS remove. So still I'm expecting maybe some Xayah priority coming in from Crownie, Xayah Rakan, ideas like this, and just like not wanting to engage with that Xayah, which makes Team Wales obviously go, hey, hold on, we're not going to let you get one and we don't get the other. Xayah makes a lot of sense to go ahead and get locked in first here.
I'm curious if this is to set up for the Ezreal for Crownie or if there's some alternate game plan being formed here, because I feel like we're on a patch where actually there are a lot. I was really surprised and a little disappointed that we keep getting Xayah Xayah on this patch. I feel like there are so many viable AD carries, like the Ezreal we've seen a good chunk of, but like things like Ashe, Jhin even got a buff coming into this patch. So we'll see if we do get more utility AD carries or if it is these hyper carries that dominate for the rest of the team.
Yeah, it is taboo to talk about Ashe with Crownie. So, you know,
well, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, you know what, Jhin, yeah, great idea. Absolutely love that.
Where's
no, honestly,
when you need it, man?
I would love to see, like, you're going for like the more utility AD carry route. I feel like Crownie, like historically and earlier this year especially, was so good on like those hyper scaling ADs down on the bot side. So if you wanted to kind of ignore the early game a little bit more and pick something that scales really hard, that could be a good look. And Adam goes for Renekton.
I will say, I don't necessarily think that the Renekton was a problem in the previous game. Like,
no, he
still solo killed Sparda. Like, he still had massive pressure in the top side. It's not like Adam was definitely winning top. Like, there's no two ways about it.
It just means we're playing regular League of Legends,
exactly,
which is less fun.
So
and, it opens up, it invites the Cassante, of course.
I'm critical from a I want to see fun stuff perspective as opposed to a this is not good drafting perspective, if that makes sense.
That 100% makes sense. I think that's something we can all get behind. Glory, of course, in the last game was so good on the Syndra that came on through. I think like mid lane priority is obviously taking a very big back step. Jungle as well. Saw this in the first series of the day too. There's a lot of pressure being put on getting your bot lane matchups, getting your top laners in there as well. But this very likely means that BDS are holding on to that counter pick for Nuke in mid lane, making sure he gets something very comfortable. And if it is, I mean, I think the Crownie Ezreal is a good pick for them. It is a little bit tough because the front line already is showing very tanky on the side of Team Wales. Now, I am expecting to see maybe a Viego ban come in this time. That was really strong on BeanJ, although maybe there aren't as powerful transforms for him this time around, so they might let that slip through.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what comes through in the mid lane. Obviously, analyst desk kind of criticizing the Talia coming on through, not wanting that again. And I feel like Nuke, he had fantastic Weaver's Walls. His ultimates were fantastic. But the general combos, like, saw a lot of missed Ws, wasn't necessarily able to connect a lot of those combos in crucial moments. So perhaps something a little bit more comfort for Nuke as opposed to that Talia.
Yeah, I'm thinking for BDS, if they can get something that fights front to back a little bit better as opposed to like a hit and run comp. I feel like Ezreal, Talia kind of want to move around in fights. They want a very like flowy team fight where they can make use of the Ezreal jumps, the Q poke, you know, Talia working around on the worked ground as well. It's a little bit tougher to just full-on front-to-back team fight, especially because like Team Wales, like Xayah, that's exactly what she wants to do. Nautilus, exactly what he wants to do. That's exactly how they want to play the game.
I will say, Syndra's up. Glory looked really good on Syndra in the previous game. Why not just take the Syndra away from Glory, deny the pick, and also get yourself a mage that is fantastic at those front-to-back?
Yeah, the question is, do we want to blind mid lane here when all we dropped was the Nico ban? And I don't think that's going to be the way for them. Do we see something like a Jarvan come in for Sheo? Okay, yeah, we can root up the Xayah. That might not be terrible. Gives us another like easy form of engage next to the Rakan. But hey, like you say, they do decide to steal away that Glory, and I can't necessarily fault them for it. Now just the gauntlet has been thrown, like what is Glory taking? Because I think there's a lot of room to play harder around mid lane, especially with these junglers that are being covered. Like Lee Sin, LeBlanc, that's a power two-piece.
Okay, here we go. BeanJ and Glory basically said, okay, time to play for mid and jungle.
Yep.
The Lee Sin LeBlanc combo, that is power in those two lanes.
And you don't want to lock in the Jarvan after seeing the Lee Sin come in from BeanJ, so I don't know. I feel like Sheo's kind of forced to play something that is going to be a little bit more losing in mid. So now this is going to be AP mid and jungle. Will be that Gragas going into the hands of Sheo, which the champion he's been pretty strong on in the past. I do have to give him credit on that front. But I'm wondering how much influence can he actually get from the cast, because the Xayah is really slippery. The LeBlanc, too, might be difficult to hit priority targets, or Sheo just has to sit on that ability and rely on Adam or Labrov to bait out the big cooldowns.
Honestly, when you look across the team from Team Wales, everyone has a way out. Like, you can buffer the anchor for Nautilus. Like you mentioned, the Xayah, the LeBlanc, they're obvious. Lee Sin can dash to an ally. And even Sparda can literally buffer CC and just dash away. So it feels like, unless it's a really nice combo, unless it's off of the point of someone else's CC, it's going to be tough to land.
Yeah, Merc Tread's also looking very valuable this game, not just because mid-jungle are AP focused, but between the crowd control effects of Rakan, the Renekton, like, those are going to be big purchases, especially for the top side of the map from Team Wales. But this is what it all comes down to for these two teams today. BDS just got handed their first loss since they arrived in Korea after the 3-0. And Team Wales with a chance to take that over the finish line.
See if they can do it. It'd be huge for VCS, especially after GAM unfortunately losing 0-2 in their series. VCS now with a game on the board and an opportunity to turn it into a series up against essentially what I think a lot of people were considering the absolute favorites of play-ins overall. Like, this is a huge statement game in game number 2, and it could be a statement series for Team Wales if they can finish this one off. BDS now up against it. They've got pressure on their shoulders as the European representative.
And as the European representative coming into the play-in stage, that loss, another loss here, would bring very, very unwanted flashbacks to some of the LEC representatives in the past in the play-in stage.
I don't want to see the Reddit thread. I don't
We've
want to
struggled
see it.
a little bit. This is a must-win for BDS.
It certainly is. It certainly is. We'll see if they can finish this one off in style. When they win, though, they dominate a lot of the time. And I feel like this series so far has been kind of reflective of the Golden Guardian series as well, where game number 2, it didn't feel as strong. Like, that was a comeback win in game number 2 against Golden Guardians. Felt like they fell behind a little bit in the early game and had to reach for straws to get back into things. Perhaps game number 3 can feel a little bit stronger for them again, just like it did against Golden Guardians.
I think what we really saw was that neither team, BDS towards the end gave up the fight, but I think like over the first like couple Barons, they did keep things very close. The Baron power play did not end up meaning too much for Team Wales. BDS also had a pretty solid early game. Sheo had nice early pathing, and once again, BDS have that early ward. Adam dropped that on in there on his way to lane, so BeanJ is going to be fully spotted out. And for a guy that loves to look for those level 3 ganks, he has not been able to find those opportunities today, because every single game starts with level 1 ward for BDS.
It certainly does. I just want to say as well, isn't it glorious to see Glory in the mid lane with Electrocute and Corrupting Potion instead of a bloody longsword, instead of fleet footwork. None of that stack shift nonsense. We're back to actually LeBlanc playing like a LeBlanc.
Yay! We did it, team. We got there eventually. I like it, you know? Does mean, of course, no attacks. Not going to be packing a punch. Does mean you have to jump into the entire minion wave to clear it away instead of auto-attacking one time and all of the ranged creeps are down. It's pretty a big nerf to the champion, to be sure. With some compensation, of course, and into the Syndra matchup. There's a lot of ability to set up for plays around the mid lane, especially with that Lee Sin for BeanJ. Dude in the jungle just said, hey, played a couple games with Viego, had a fantastic game too, give me the lead. I can take over early, and already we're seeing that. Look, hovering around mid lane instead of doing the bot side camps, but I believe he was seen out on an early ward from BDS.
Glory dodges away from the scat of the week, jumps forwards though, and Sheo sees that as an opportunity. The wave is in an awkward spot to get the body slam. Glory with some fancy footwork gets a little bit of damage back onto them. Did lose a chunk of health though. Does make this lane a little bit tougher.
That was nice. I thought for sure that's just going to be a flash blown there from Glory, but gets on out of there.
He's been looking good in this series, honestly. The laning phases have been really solid. And now a flash forwards onto Crownie. He's going to force the heal out, but that's about all it'll get.
It's nice to see VA feeling a little confident now. Sees the angle to go for, especially just trying to soften up this lane. Get a summoner spell out with BeanJ on the prowl, then look for the re-engage. Unfortunately, only got the heal. Yeah. Did cost the flash, and does PA actually not have the, don't believe there is,
Hex Flash.
Hex Flash, that's the one. It's a little bit harder to repeat around there, but does have things like the minion dematerializer and the stopwatch for all-ins a little bit later.
Yeah, opting away from the Hex Flash. Surprising to see on a Nautilus, but not unheard of. As Glory actually running all 3 D-mats, just try to clear waves ASAP, get himself reset and get some gold. But a great start to the lane, almost 10 CS lead now at this point. There is a lot of minions there. For Nuke to get farming up, to catch up a little bit, but a good start certainly. As Adam looks to get onto Sparda, but did not.
It's actually interesting because I think the DMAT tech that we were seeing on LeBlanc previously was all to just make it so that your auto attack, the static shift proc, could full clear the ranged minions. I think you need 2 stacks on the melees, but hold that thought because BeanJ's around the top lane, just making himself known up here.
BeanJ making sure that Sparda can crash this wave in, might end up going for a reset, but Adam perhaps try and hold this one for now. Looks like he will get underneath the tower, but no, good positioning from Adam to try and contest it. Sparda realizes he has to stay, he has to keep pushing that one, and then Adam clears the wave.
Look at BA off the reset, runs to the top river. Potential angle into Nuke, but at best you're trying to get a flash there, and he doesn't have the flash to combo. Now Sheo up into top lane. Sparda's really been trading aggressively here. Adam has the stun. Stun
available. Sparda gets the knockback at the same time, but Sparda forced the flash away there. Sheo burning the flash in the top side. BF is here. They could try and find something here. Depends on the recalls, the timing from Sheo. Sorry. But no, they'll not pull the trigger in the end. I gotta say, this feels like a nervous game from both teams. This feels like a little bit like tiptoeing around each other. We've had an absolute slobber knocker over game number 2. Now in game number 3, we're taking it easy to start things off.
It's like everyone's kind of looking for an angle though, right? You have like the roams into mid from the supports, and into top. Like Bia is just not even laning at this point in the game. Labrov just putting down some early vision.
It's a very different vibe in the early game to what we saw in our first game of the day, where they're
you want
literally
some action?
diving between
I'll give you
tier
some
2s.
action.
Artemis takes a chunk. Sheo's moved down to the bottom side, but Nuke is here as well. Bia just gets onto the tower. Scat of the week won't find its mark. And, I mean, the attempt is there. I like the idea, but, I mean, this is the thing we were talking about. Everyone on this team is so slippery.
This time around, actually, Sheo can't really start up the dragon. It's actually a little bit tougher on the Gragas, especially because this is going to be Sheo going for the 1-pop build. So it's first strike, got a little bit extra money. When you went for that topside gank, it's just going to be building full AP.
Yeah, people. I think a lot of people think of Gragas as like this tank character that's going to set. No. Sheo's going to one-shot people. Yeah, Sheo's going to do a lot of damage.
There's going to be at least once this game, unless BDS just kind of stop playing like they did towards the end of game 2, where Nuke is just going to press R, and then Sheo's going to press R, and someone will be dead, quite simply. Or Crownie throws the ultimate in. There's so much burst on this BDS team. but it means they have to navigate the team fights pretty carefully, I would say, because it's very easy to overcommit in, especially on that AP Gragas. And then you're just getting insta-popped by, you know, the feathers rooting you down, the Nautilus. It gets very annoying.
So let's talk about the next couple of minutes of the game, right? Because we've got Herald coming up in about 40 seconds time.
175.
Oh, what a prediction! And the Featherstorm is there as well. The flash for the root. Artemis and BA take a bow. That was glorious.
Oh my god! What did BA just do to the man? The absolute read on the hook. Crownie jumps straight into it. Some nice feather play with the ultimate from Artemis as well. I mean, look, it was getting a little quiet for a second. You wanted to talk about the next few minutes. Nah, Artemis and BA are taking over. And they did the exact same thing last game when topside was neutralized, which it has been again. They just dominate.
And it might not be neutral for long, honestly, because Adam is getting ganked by BeanJ here. Kick available for BeanJ. He wants to go for that. Has vision right now. Pulled over the wall, kicked back and taken down. Team Wales, 2 kills across the board.
Phenomenally played by them. BeanJ finds the long loopy path. Bot side's rotated up here, so they're going to take the Herald. Labrov can't do anything. Good bot side vision control. Denies the gank in mid while BeanJ was looking top. This could start running away from BDS. I'll be perfectly honest. Especially with that Herald, if you just donate that over to the Xayah, Artemis is going to be absolutely feeling it.
And these are the kind of games where when plays like this are happening one after another, it can start to get to your mental a little bit. Because the play down in bot, that was just like, oh, yeah, that was beautiful bit of footwork. He's still got flash available. He's not even going to use it. He has no fear in his heart. Like, an incredible hook onto Crownie. They outplay the bottom lane. They get the kill onto Adam up in the top side. They get advantages on both sides of the map in short succession. Like, mentality-wise, this is going to be feeling fantastic for Wales.
I was going to say, this is going to be really frustrating for BDS, because you have Crownie where that's just a mechanical blunder straight up, straight in to that hook. Artemis just pulling back the feathers with the old flash, just amazing. But then also you had, like, the sidestep in mid lane on that initial gank that Sheo went for, where Glory doesn't have to burn the flash. Then you have that other one with VA in mid. You have Adam dying in topside. Every single player in BDS has had a moment where they've just been outplayed mechanically, and either it's resulted in kills or it's resulted in them not getting any. And I think their real only claim here from BDS is that Adam's got 1 solo plate in topside. Crownie got another solo one in bot side, so the gold isn't so bad after those first 2 kills.
It's not so good either, though. 1,000 up in favor of Team Wales. It's feeling good. I think a lot of fans at home over from Vietnam going to be biting their nails in this one, watching their team go up against arguably the favorite of play-ins. They managed to find game number 2. I'm not sure a lot of people believed it was doable, but they've proven that belief wrong. And now looking good with the lead in game 3. BDS, though, they love to stack these Drakes. They're yet to get one on the board.
Glory had an interesting position there for a second and just walked straight up into BDS's jungle, but nope, gonna take the quick reset from BeanJ. 10.5 minutes in, no dragon. Is this really a BDS game? Sure doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? You don't see this very often, but a lot of that down to Team Wales and how they're playing the map, how they're controlling things. Labrov clearing vision.
Pretty sure that walkabout from Glory placed that control ward right next to the wolves from Sheo, so that one might survive a long time. BDS don't seem aware of the pathing that Glory ended up taking.
And the thing is, like, we're talking about the fact that Drake is up on the map. Well, BeanJ has the Herald in pocket. You can use that to get yourself into River for the Drake, as well as just getting gold into Artemis's pocket, which we saw after last game. Like, you want gold in Artemis's pocket. This guy's going to carry if you give him the gold. And BeanJ knows it, moves into this bottom side. Not sure if he was quite in vision range. I think it probably was. As now trying to clear. Sheo's in the area as well, but I'm not sure if BDS can contest.
I think it's Herald. Push out this cannon wave and then Herald, because your own cannon is going to eat up so many turret shots here that would be your best opportunity in terms of time you can stall out to start up the Drake if they want to. BeanJ's actually just taking his time. maybe he thinks if he pulls, no, he's just actually not even using the Herald. So this is the ultimate like greed play almost, because then you keep the Herald and you can probably cash in on more turret plates as opposed to just using it for pressure. And hey, he's got the Gold Drinker finished off, so I can't entirely blame him for wanting BDS just straight up fight him here. That's a TP behind though.
TP coming out from Adam. BDS want to find themselves the fight. BeanJ the target as Beer gets to the back of the pit. BeanJ flashes out safety, and suddenly it's Adam that's the target instead. BeanJ doesn't dive back in, and BDS back to front to back right here, back on their side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, BeanJ, he could just drop Herald in mid and then go back to the Dragon. Yeah, exactly. He puts it straight in front of the tower. They might even get some hits on as well. No, Glory jumps in to get the auto, to get the extra gold off of that Herald. And now with BA taking the reset, he's going to be full HP. This should just be their Dragon, and BDS don't really have the tools to go for it. Sheo doesn't have the ultimate. Adam spent it, as well as the teleport to get the flank. So yeah, run back to top lane. That's a lost engage from BDS.
And it was only in trade of Beer's ult as well. So you've still got Artemis, you've still got BeanJ, you've still got Sparda with their ults. So realistically, not a fight that BDS can afford to take right now. And it means that Team Wales, not only with a gold lead, but a slight dragon lead now as well. A great start to things. And once again, we complimented it. We complimented that on it in game number 2 on their control of the mid game, their ability to play this sort of slower game and just maintain a lead. It's looking good in game number 3.
And we haven't even seen them set up for picks yet, because that was really impressive. Between BA's Nox like flashing over walls. Yeah, they had the Xayah, which simplified things for them. But now you have the LeBlanc perhaps to follow up on that Nautilus engage. So it's a different pairing we might see, sort of running around, spooking everyone on the map. But it's still a very, very powerful one, especially once we get some items online for Glory.
Maybe we get Artemis going for a Gale Force to be budget Xayah. Hang on a second, Sparda goes for the all-in on the top side. Adam's in trouble! Sparda forces the flash, and Dominus comes out at the last second as well. But Sparda, I mean, he has warmed up over this series. I've never seen like an evolution throughout a series like this.
It's crazy, he was just Casanteing all over him. I love Casante. Oh man, Adam thought he was winning that fight. Absolutely not. Nuke turns it.
Oh, he's been found. Dodges away from the W though. Won't get the full combo coming through there. And it feels really tense. It's 45 seconds until this Herald comes up, and it feels like both teams will want to fight for this one. But I feel like this Lee Sin from BeanJ is doing a lot of the heavy lifting of this early game. Like, they don't want to fight him. Everywhere he goes, Sheo, it feels like he's kind of shadowing him. Doesn't really want to commit.
Yeah, he's really strong. He's got a level lead. Both BeanJ and Sparda just went for the Merc Tread purchase, so that's fantastic up against BDS's comp. So setting up for a fight here. At the same time, Sheo, stopwatch available, finished off the Night Harvester on the latest reset, so the gap isn't quite as extreme items-wise between him and BeanJ anymore. Really, it's going to be the levels where he finds the hurt just ever so slightly.
And a quiet one here. To round out our day, this is our final game of the day as well, and both teams, they know it's their final game in the upper bracket if they can't connect a victory here. So far, Team Wales, a fantastic start, but they've got to finish it off in BDS. They showed us already in the tournament they can win comebacks. They did it in Game 2 against GG, and they do it here against Team Wales as well.
So both Nuke and Glory have teleports available. Nuke's got some nice damage down onto Glory. Does make things a little bit awkward when we're going into a Herald fight, because you can't always get the perfect teleport location, especially as a mid laner. The fact that Glory has the mobility to maybe reposition favors him ever so slightly. I don't think either team wants to start it up though. BDS has the mid prio, BDS has the top prio, but Team Wales are overall stronger. So how do you really reconcile with that? Well, you play for the Scuttle Crab. You take things slow. BeanJ just styles on Sheo, and now here comes the TP. Glory.
TP coming in here. It's Glory joining the play. Lock up, but Glory still gets out with his life here. It's just the clone that's going to go down in the end.
And now Nuke teleports into mid lane, so options to re-enter the fight with the Leandry's complete. Crownie's pretty low on mana. It's still not the freest objective, but they are going to kick it off.
It felt like that was a positive TP with the flank there, but Glory actually just gets burst out, and now it feels like BDS have the advantage off the back of the TP.
Yeah, they were ready for that teleport to come on in. Yeah, BeanJ, you got to channel the resets here. Glory just can't re-enter the fight. Team Wales were stronger, but a misstep on that teleport position, I feel, like I was talking about, kind of hard to get those flanks off. You need a little bit more distance between the enemy team, or you just get popped.
Yeah. Especially when they know where you're teleporting, like, This is a composition from BDS that definitely has the ability to target CC and just one-shot someone, so you can't really afford to go the way that he went.
Yeah, you're also on the LeBlanc at this point in the game. You're more stacked into points in your W as opposed to your Q, so it's a little bit harder. Like later in the game, you can W forward, QR, get a lot of poke damage, and snap back. At this stage of the game, you got to be like double Wing in, so that puts you in a lot of risk of just being chain CC'd and popped exactly like we saw right there.
See what Team Wales can do to regain control, because I feel like that was a crucial moment in the game for BDS, right? It felt like slowly but surely, Wales were like eking these little advantages out time and time again. This Herald will kind of reinvigorate BDS a little bit, get a bit more confidence back, see what they can get with the Herald. In the meantime, though, Team Wales, they don't feel like they need Herald. They're going to be able to get this bot tier 1 just with pressure.
It's time for a Dragon. BDS just took a reset on Crownie, and that cost them bot lane turret, mid lane turret very, very low. But it does mean coming into this Dragon fight, he's feeling very strong. Everyone pretty even in items across the board. Yeah, Team Wales are 2K ahead, but first items all completed. It's really just components that are going to be separating the two.
I felt a little bit close there. BeanJ gets out with his life. And I've got to say, and I hope you're right, I hope we get a Drake in 5 seconds. I'm channeling my inner LPL, desperately trying to divine a fight out of this situation. It's 2 kills on the board at almost 20 minutes.
So Sparda just channeled Recall. There's double teleport wards. He's just TPing into mid lane, as a matter of fact. That turret is falling. Just in the thick of things, but hey, the whole team's here.
Adam has been found, but they don't use the ultimate from the Cassante. Knockback is going to be enough, though. Adam low on HP and taken down. Team Wales once again 3 kills on the board. The hat trick there for them. And perhaps could find the second Drake for themselves. They're building advantage after advantage, but BeanJ just gets jumped on. He still gets out somehow. The charm, the stun is there. The kill is there. Traded 1 for 1, but Wales still with the advantage. But health bars are low, actually. Glory gets a root, has to dash away. And maybe they actually, I think BDS get the Drake.
I mean, respect to BDS finding an angle there. Yeah, I think BDS take Dragon. Team Wales look for that mid lane tier 2 turret on Artemis. That would be even more gold he's able to secure. Adam just gets caught out in mid lane, but respect to BDS for finding an angle, seeing that BeanJ was split away from the rest of the team and knowing they have so much burst between the Gragas and the Syndra, they can just pop them quickly.
Yeah, I feel like BeanJ counting his whales before they'd hatched there. Steps a little too far forward, thinking perhaps BDS were backing away. Another look, because I feel like Adam a little disrespectful here. Honestly.
Yeah. Just walks up for the turret. He saw the teleport, so I think he assumed Artemis and be like, no one's running up mid lane in that situation. If you're teleporting to catch that wave, surely you're coming from the river, and then he's probably fine. Here you have it. BeanJ turns right around and gets that kill. Or gets killed.
Yeah, BeanJ goes down from the ultimate as well, and then it's kind of just everyone from Team Wales grouping up to finish those kills, but the health bar's still plenty high. Crownie and Nuke, and this is kind of what we were talking about with the composition earlier on as well, right? Where we've got the Syndra and the Ezreal that can kind of sit back behind the Renekton, behind the Rakan, and get that front-to-back damage down. And I feel like the health bars at the end, you're kind of seeing the safety that these, or at least relative safety, that these 2 picks have been able to use. And we'll see if they can keep that up throughout these fights. BDS still behind in gold, 3,500 at this point. But getting that Drake will be a welcome boon for them. And we'll see what else they can find off the back of it, whether or not they can scale into this game.
All right. Both teams, or BDS, really looking for a reset at the moment. Second item finished off for Crownie, but also Artemis. I feel like Artemis has just been outpacing him in these last 2 games. He's been such a difference maker in the team fights. And now it does seem like the pressure has really shifted almost completely in favor of Team Wales. I mean, Artemis is just full clearing the bot side jungle while BeanJ is looking for picks and plays around the top side of the map. So Artemis continues to snowball ahead.
Root almost lands onto Sheo, not quite. I have to say, I'm impressed by Team Wales in their sort of flexibility. Oh no, that's just stun, but Glory dodges it. Beautifully done. Bit of fancy footwork and a bit of fancy distortion work.
Mercury treads makes playing this game really unfun. Nuke scouts out BeanJ. Does see the particle traveling over there, but yeah, I mean, 4 Merc treads from Team Wales.
Feels pretty good.
What are you gonna do? Like your pick options just aren't really there, especially because tied into the slipperiness, like Lee Sin, LeBlanc, you hit them with any amount of CC, they're immediately snapping out of there with the W dashes.
Yeah, absolutely. Team Wales adapting well in this series. We saw game number 1, Adam destroying, and we all know BDS love a dragon. It feels like the longer this series has gone on, the more they've been able to, A, contain what Adam's doing in the top side, but B, actually contest these early dragons. Not allow, those being kind of the 2 win conditions we've seen from BDS today, and so denying both of them here in game 3.
Yeah, Team Wales have played very nicely when sort of grouping up together and then playing around those objectives. Vision control has been on fire as well. Makes it really hard for BDS to sort of cross the threshold and get into the river. Just currently, you know, stacking up, farming in side lanes, and this was kind of how BDS tried to play the second game. And one of the reasons why it looked so silly from them almost, where they were just giving up everything, because they would just like go and spread out, play all 3 lanes, and farm once they fell behind. It did mean that the Baron plays from Team Wales didn't give them huge gold leads, because while Team Wales was grouping, BDS was just farming everything under the sun. But it did mean Team Wales stacked objective after objective after objective, and that's going to be a serious concern if BDS can't find ways to fight back inside of this game.
See if they can find their way back in. I'm amazed at how quiet this one has been, honestly, especially when we saw the Lee Sin LeBlanc locked in. I was like, okay, early action, let's go. But realistically, these kind of picks, they don't have to just be used for fighting. Like, the early presence that they give also can be a deterrent for the enemy team, so you can just take more objectives, you can take more space without the fight ever needing to happen.
Also, just BeanJ is outpacing Sheo inside of the jungle clear, rushing the gold drinker, all of these things. Now he can go full on tank. It's a spirit visage. He's just going to be a giant meat shield for all of the magic damage that BDS are going to be firing at him.
Artemis, he might find an opportunity, but Labrov dashes out to safety. I believe that was Guardian proc there.
Yeah, keep your eyes on the angles at which Team Wales can approach, because anyone can flank. Cassante, Lee Sin, LeBlanc, and us. Each one of them accomplishes something very different, but it starts with BeanJ control over the bot side jungle, stealing away wolves, putting down control wards, full bot side push from Sparda as well. BDS can't fight the dragon, because if they walk into their jungle, even if they make it in, someone's going to be coming from behind them, man.
I mean, this is just sheer control of the bottom side for Team Wales. BDS have to just accept it, have to back away, look towards that top side instead, clear vision towards Baron. Perhaps looking for a pick themselves, I'm not sure. I'm not really sure what the play is, but Adam, in the meantime, trying to get onto this tier 2. Glory moving over to answer. He's fairly lonely right now. Bia is nearby. He'll just be able to clear the way. I'm amazed he jumped back in there. That felt dicey.
That is just disrespectful, man. Glory is having a good time.
All for a single Q.
Yeah,
He got 100 damage out of that.
No, he's just saying a little goodbye kiss on the way out. Hello. Adam, you went for the turret again? What happened last time?
No, Adam really wanted that tier 1 in the mid lane. The feathers, and there he's rooted up. And Artemis, once again, just 1v1ing Adam. Sparda comes in to take the kill at the end, but let's be honest, Artemis had that beautiful stuff. Well, I mean, Artemis, he's a monster. It's as simple as that.
I can't. I don't know what to do, man. Like, Adam just runs in for the turret again. It feels like a side effect almost of how dominant game 1 was, that he's just playing unhinged a little bit, going for that, thinking he's absolutely unkillable, like in the Darius match. And now the Lee Sin flank, the teleport behind. It's a team fight for Team Wales.
Here we go. Team Wales want to find their advantage. They jump in. Crownie could be the target, but it's nuke kicked back, and Glory flies in as well, but Labrov blocking it, and it's actually Crownie to get a kill, but now the knockbacks are in, and Artemis has arrived. The feathers flying on in. He wants to make quills. He wants to write BDS's epitaph. But now a TP in from BDF. The re-engage could come on through. I don't think they're going to be able to find their mark, though. Glory has the fancy footwork, has his W's available. So 1-for-1 in the end.
I like the idea, maybe a little bit too much from Team Wales. BeanJ couldn't quite find the kick he was looking for. I think the best target in terms of his angle was going to be Crownie, but because Crownie has the Arcane Shift, he didn't commit to it. Then he kicks Nuke, but there's not immediate follow-up, so he gets absolutely popped. 1-for-1, though, still not so bad for Team Wales. Although the side effect of that is a lot of vision inside that topside jungle and river for BDS. So here's what I'm talking about. Crownie, a kick on him is really nice, but the damage follow-up isn't going to be there. Artemis is too far away. Glory also coming in on the flank, so BeanJ just gets exploded. Still, between Sparda and BA, that was gorgeous. The double knockups there to eliminate Nuke.
And then Artemis is obviously there to just absolutely sweep up with the damage.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Restart of Baron. Team Wales in the pit right now. Adam behind them, and the smite is there. BeanJ grabbing the Baron as Adam trying to survive, trying to sustain in the middle of the pit. Dashes out to safety. But as to all of Team Wales, they get a Baron for nothing.
I wish I could tell you what happened right there. Honestly, I think Team Wales just reset off of the fight and immediately forced into the Baron. BDS must have been caught out of position. There was deep... I don't know. BDS just getting caught every single time. It feels like they're either ones getting picked off or being really late to the play. Yeah. Team Wales are fully in control, and it's just a shame.
Yeah, I mean, you got to feel the pressure on BDS right now as the European seed in play-ins, as the favorite for play-ins. They're expected to dominate today. They started today dominating. Team Wales, it feels like they found the answer. It feels like they found the kryptonite to BDS. And now this macro control that they've shown us is paying dividends.
And if it's not the macro, it's the items. Can't assume now. It is the Red Bull Baron power play from Team Wales. They can continue this pressure going in. But between the Merc Treads, there's also now a third item, Maw of Malmortius on Artemis. There's no way you're going to burst him between that Syndra and the Gragas anymore. Spirit Massage complete for BeanJ in the jungle. On top of the 5,000 gold lead, all of the gold advantage that Team Wales have, they've just fully invested into defensive options. And that's so limiting for any angles BDS might find.
Yeah, it feels so oppressive, doesn't it? It feels like even when you do find a potential opportunity, it's that much harder to connect it, especially when you're running like the first strike for Sheo, you know, you're wanting to try and burst people down. Those defensive options do so much to deny that potential opportunity. And again, I want to say Sparda, the level up this player has had across the course of today. Game number 1 was an absolute disaster. Game number 3, he's looking fantastic. That combo alongside Bia. And I mean, you can see the win probability by AWS looking pretty good. Adam pulled over the wall, rooted up once again. Glory with a kill. And I mean, Team Wales, they're just taking BDS apart now.
It is personal, man. They're not going to let Adam live. They just keep targeting him and deleting him, zeroing him from the map. That is just insane.
And I was coming into game number 3 excited for game number 3, thinking, yes, we're going to have another close one, just like game number 2. This is going to be a brawl. But honestly, it feels like Team Wales have just got better and better. And now game 3, this doesn't even feel close anymore.
It is brutal. I mean, just dragging him over the wall. There's not really anything. At that point, Adam can't do anything about it. Just accept what's happened and move on to the next fight. Team Wales also first onto the objective. No way BDS are going to be able to contest this. I mean, trying to look at items and see if there's a break point at which BDS can fight, it's not going to happen now. Down 7,000. Yeah. It's a full item lead on both bot laners and mid laners for Team Wales.
And you know, the cruel irony of this series is in game number 1, when we're talking about the ridiculous lead that BDS had and how it was an infernal soul on top of it. Well, Team Wales, they've got a massive lead for themselves and an infernal soul on top of it. If they could get 2 more Drakes for themselves, everything that they could wish for is going their way. And look at Artemis' items, man. He's got 360 CS at the 30-minute mark. That is mind-blowing. 4 items strong already. And that more, it's just going to be such a pain for Nuke.
Look, if these whales are Team Orcas, BDS are looking more like the boats right now. It is over. BeanJ finds out Nuke. Nuke forced to flash away. And that's off of a cost of nothing.
BeanJ just playing bouncer in the mid lane, not letting them move back, not letting them take the control of the space. Adam will look for a tower in the bottom side. I mean, it's a tier 1.
You get a flash just for walking at the man. If you don't all chat XDD, I don't know what you're doing on BeanJ. He has just been disrespecting, owning BDS, forced into their jungle. It's just full-on despair o'clock from BDS.
It's brutal. We need a miracle. And you know what? In the last game, we almost saw that miracle. Crownie went absolutely insane when he was around the Nexus, getting everyone so low on HP. But then Glory went insane too. Yeah. You know, BA went insane too. It feels like there was so many moments of like, yes, Crownie's doing so well, but so are Team Wales, and we need to see some kind of miracle, some kind of outplay if BDS are going to come back in this one.
I mean, maybe I'm just a doomer, but I don't see how Ezreal can effectively deal damage like against this front line. It's tough. Yeah, they've spec'd a little bit more into magic damage, so maybe BeanJ isn't as tanky as he looks. That health bar is pretty massive, but there's not a ton of armor to back it up. But like, Ezreal needs to find ways to hit the priority targets, and BDS's own frontline is pretty malleable. You know, Adam's the tankiest dude, and he's getting popped in the fights. He's got insane healing, don't get me wrong. The Gore Drinker plus Q-Proc in the last fight was ridiculous, but I don't know, Labrov and Sheo kind of have to wait, have to play back. There's not the front line to give space to Nuke and Crownie that Team Wales have at their disposal.
And I feel like we talked about Nuke and Crownie as being like being able to do safe damage front to back, but that only functions if Adam is ahead. That only functions if this Renekton is a real threat, which he's not in this game right now. We're getting real cheeky with it. Sheo sneaking on forwards. Glory could be in trouble. Labrov's moved over. He's been spotted on a control ward. Sheo still not spotted. They found their opportunity. They found a shutdown to go into the pocket of Nuke.
And this is 20 seconds before Baron. I think this might be BDS's best shot. Push out top wave, get on this Baron. 50 seconds to the respawn on Glory, and he will have teleport, but that gives him a 35-second buffer to play with on this objective.
This would be unreal if BDS can come back now. We said they needed a miracle. They needed to get creative, and get creative Sheo has. Finding the pick, but BeanJ is in the area. Sparda moving forwards, try and buy space for his team. Keep your eyes on Artemis or on Adam as he's kicked back into the fight. The stopwatch is there though, as Beard could be going down here. Gets the shield, gets away, gets the CC. Adam finds one to answer the play, but Artemis will take him down anyway. Double kill for the Bird Lady, and Baron next on the chopping block. Crownie could be in trouble. He actually jumps forward. He jumps at BeanJ, but into the pit they go, and Sparda trades places. Baron still going to 7K.
Sheo has to try something. It's down to 5,000, and they have so much burst. Team Wales are going to pull off the objective. They know they are dominating. And Sheo, I mean, they're trying to sneak it, but there's wards in the pit. What is he doing? He's got to flash on out of here. It is falling apart for BDS.
At least they didn't lose the Baron. It could have gone worse in theory, but my God, that felt close.
But what are they doing, man? Like, you gotta turn and fight there. They have 3 people still hitting the Baron, while Team Wales are just killing their front line.
Sheo's been spotted on the ward. He's completely blind. He wants to try and get into the pit. It's too little too late. Baron taken for Team Wales now. 3 Drakes already, with the next one spawning in a minute's time. Everything they could want is in their favor. Artemis is practically full build, and his last time was a stopwatch, so
it's a GA,
more valuable
actually.
than most.
Yeah, he just finished it off. I mean, look, BDS, the right idea. Sheo sets a tent in the enemy jungle, finds this pick. Glory is gone. They have 35 seconds on the play, but then, what are you doing? Adam and I think Labrov enter this fight, but Crownie, Nuke, and Sheo just sit inside of the Baron pit. They're hitting instead of, I guess Crownie looks forward there, but they need to be able to actually turn and fight instead of just being stuck in the pit. There wasn't a collective decision to turn, it felt. And now they have to run away to the top side. Artemis is free hitting. You have to jump on Xayah, or you can't play a front to back.
And now the Baron power play for Team Wales. The 4th, I think, Baron power play for Team Wales across the course of the last 2 games here. They've got a huge gold lead. Drake up in 5 seconds time. Sheo trying to get cheeky onto Glory again, but Glory's getting even cheekier onto Sheo. This is a good chunk of his health for it.
Dragon's been started up here. Soul point for Team Wales. BeanJ and Sparda looking for that flank option on the top side. But now the rest of the team regroups. They can't force a fight. They're going front to back.
TP comes in. BeanJ stepping forwards. It's just going to be a 50-50, and BeanJ wins those. Now the all-in onto Crownie, but Sparda might have gone too far on this one. He gets out with his life, though, and the Infernal Soul's taken. If no kills go down, Team Wales are over the moon with this play.
They also beat BDS to this wave in mid lane. If they can save those ranged minions, there's a cannon there, too. They're just going to delay. Maybe get some pressure down on this inhib tower.
BeanJ still has his Dragon Rage available, so you've got to be careful if you're Nuke or Crownie in this situation. BeanJ will pull the trigger on that kind of play. And once again, just great control from Team Wales. Now with Soul on top of that Baron, they are feeling fantastic. They are feeling on the cusp of taking this upset against the LEC 4th seed.
Sparda, Glory, Artemis, all level 18. Full build on Artemis now. He's not getting any stronger, but my word, I don't think BDS have an answer to him.
When you said Sparda, Glory, Artemis, I thought you were going like a 300 angle here. I thought we were going Gladiator style. But it feels like Team Wales are going Gladiator style. They want revenge for what happened in game number 1. Labrov is caught, dashes out, gets himself to safety as the siege begins. Only playing for one lane right now, Team Wales.
Yeah, they're going to have to send Glory, I think, to pick up that top wave. It slows down. I feel like, yeah, Team Wales haven't been able to generate too much off their Baron plays, but it doesn't matter because eventually BDS are just forced to fight them. Now with the Infernal Soul on top of it all, Glory can look for just insane poke damage. That was just AQ. No R duplicate involved there whatsoever, but oh, nice attempt from Sheo to turn. Glory's just too flexible.
That's tower going down. His name is Artemis, Maximus, Meridius, Decimus, whatever the name is in that film. And they've taken one tower down. But again, it feels like every single time we see a Baron power play from Team Wales, my criticism is they're not really able to get that much off of these Barons. It doesn't feel like they're using the Barons to great effect as BA looks for the chance. Crownie, that's his flash gone.
You know, maybe it's unfair to say they never look for the chance, but it just narrow misses sometimes. No, I think that Team Wales have been a little bit overly patient with their Baron plays. At the same time, they feel they have the scaling, they have the stronger team fight, so can't fault them for not necessarily wanting to throw it all away at a moment's notice. But we saw very similar things in the last game. Maybe something to eye as we look later into this tournament, but for now, they just continue to push the foot down.
I do think as well, like, you know, spending my year commentating JDG, you become impatient.
It's valid.
Like, when they get a Baron, they win within the next 3 minutes of the game. So it builds some kind of conditioning there. So I maybe just need to hone that in a little bit.
Team Wales, we usually wait for the third Baron before we look to end the game. It's just really rubbing salt in the wound to BDS. Like, imagine, you've actually lost the game by like 28 minutes, but then you're forced to stay in the server for 20 more minutes, losing fight after fight, Baron after Baron after Dragon. Meanwhile, they just build more MR. I don't know, I'd be tilted.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to BDS. You know, this is a double elim. They still have the opportunity to make it out of this bracket, even if they lose this game. But they certainly would have been coming in today with expectations of winning, right? They are definitely the team that should be coming out of play-ins with the expectations of finishing plays, you know, of making it into the Swiss, joining their LEC brethren. So far, it feels like Team Wales might just have their number. It's a disastrous place to be for BDS, a team with such expectations after being Golden Guardians.
I appreciate that you have so much faith in BDS. I can never be too sure. I always have my doubts coming in internationally because it is just such a different game.
It is.
And that's kind of what we've seen here. Like, ever since, if Adam isn't 1v9ing the game, how do BDS actually play around here? Because they have not looked very strong in the team fights, and that was a big strength of theirs. I felt the majority of the LEC, the team fights around objectives, around dragons, they're always so good there. Today, it has been lackluster, and the way they've been picked out in the mid-game has just been downright sloppy.
Yeah. I've got to say as well, Artemis has been so good. Like, his positioning in the late game has been phenomenal. His team fighting is fantastic. Even the plays like, you know, him and Bia essentially just 2v2ing Crownie and Labrov, finding the kill early on. In a matchup, you know, that it's not necessarily easy to just find simple kills against an Ezreal, against the Rakan. He still managed to find that opportunity. And now BDS, they want to contest this Baron. Team Wales very much in control for now.
Yeah, oh my lord, look at the damage, Labrov.
If that chain lands, that's the end of Labrov.
Yeah, but now that forces a reset, right? So they can maybe hit the Baron, see if they can tempt out a fight. It's always going to be this dance from Team Wales. The mid-pressure into Baron, and then always looking for picks over the wall while in between.
They don't actually have a control ward in the pit right now, so full vision here. BDS go in!
It's Artemis!
But Sheo can't find the steal. It's taken, as is his life. And now Nuke chased down Labrov on the scene as BeanJ trying to go further forwards.
It's going to be a double TP.
The TP's in from the solo laners. The hook is there. Glory on the backside, looking for Nuke. Goes golden to buy time for his team as everybody charges on in, and Artemis remains untouched. Adam goes down as Sparda finds his redemption. It's glory across the board, not just the mid laner, as Sparda gets the 3 out of 300 with his triple kill.
The tenacity from Team Wales today. After the humiliating defeat in Game 1, grinded out both these two games, hard fought to the last breath, but Artemis has been unstoppable in the fights, and Sparda delivered the final punch.
What a beautiful victory for Team Wales. The upset of the day easily. And I mean, look at that. Look at their faces. They're so happy, and rightly so. Well-deserved happiness off the back of this upset. After how game number 1 went, to see this result and to see game 3 happen in such a dominating fashion, it just feels fantastic for this team.
Slow and steady wins the race. Team Wales rebranding to Team Turtles after this one, right? It's just, but it's like, it's the spiky shell. You know, anytime BDS tried to do an attack, they're, ow, that hurt. You know, just jumping straight into it. And yeah, absolutely take a bow after that one. Yeah, they're literally just Ramesing all over the place. Fantastic stuff from them. I mean, so much, like, individually, you could see throughout the course of the game how each player stepped up when necessary, because you highlight the damage dealers. But BA, in game 2 and 3, the picks on the Nautilus flashes over the wall was always a concern from BDS.
Fantastic stuff. I mean, what a series from Team Wales. I'm not sure what that face was. I want to see it again. I hope that's in the replay package later on. Phenomenal stuff. I'm kind of speechless, honestly, because I feel like it's not just like, it's great for Team Wales, it's also like, where did BDS go across the course
That's what I want to know.
Like, they sort of vanished.
They lost one Baron fight in game 2, and then I don't know if the internet died or what, but they just gave every objective, and they did not feel the same ever since that moment.
And I think we all know our Oppo player of the series. I don't even need to say it, but I will anyway. It is, of course, Artemis. Going to be grabbing that for himself. Just as I mean, this was the moment where the series turned in my mind, where he literally 1v1s Adam.
And Adam like turns around, he's like, oh, I can win this. Oh, no, I absolutely cannot. Really nice kiting there as well from Artemis. Just like 2 or 3 clicks, but it kept Adam interested enough to try and turn back into the fight and realize I actually don't have the speed to catch up. This fight, fantastic follow-up off of the BeanJ engage after transforming into the Rel, but I mean, his ability to play on just the very edge of a team fight, especially on this Xayah, was nice. Also, when he paired up with BA, those picks in the mid-game, just phenomenal as a duo.
And it's to the point where I feel like the Xayah especially, you maybe need to ban. This 2v2 is fantastic. BA, what a hook out from him, and then the feather flash as well. I mean, both of them just absolutely styling on the bot lane of BDS.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was great team play from Team Wales as well. Like, Artemis making a lot of those flashy plays, but the duo play, no matter which duo it was, you could tell the experience, the playing together, and just how well coordinated it all was.
Well, that's all from us here at the caster desk. It's time to send it over to the analysts for the world's cooldown, and boy, do we need a cooldown at this point.
Thank you so much. To kick this off, I want to make something incredibly clear. This is the first time ever in the history of VCS Second Seed attending the World Championship that they have won any best-of series. In 2019, they lost to Down One Gaming. 2020 and 21, there was no attending, as no one from the VCS was there. And in 2022, they lost to the Mad Lions. Today, Team Wales have made history for VCS as a region, as well as VCS's second seed. Now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I made the claim that Adam and Gods and BDS maybe had some magic on their side with the anthem, but maybe the opposite is true. Maybe there is a tradition that no matter which team represents LEC's play-ins representation, maybe it's just the LEC's lowest seed gets eliminated.
We're not dead yet.
They're in a lower bracket. They're in a lower bracket. But I get nervous. And why do I get nervous? I want to talk about it. I have some visual aids to help along this discussion, but we were not happy with BDS's performance. I'm focusing on them because they're the team that were upset. I was incredibly impressed with Team Wales. I think they did play well. They earned the win. But as we bring up this first replay, Herald into River fight, we were scratching our heads. Gulborg was yelling a little bit at the screen. And I think let's talk holistically how and why BDS lost.
Well, I really want to hit this play here by Crownie. Just, you can see the panic because you shift forward onto Glory, who has no spells left after that E2 kind of runs out. He might W on top of you, but that's not going to kill you. You have Nuke in your back pocket, and the rest of the team has gone mid. There's no reason to flash out there, and that only happens because you're nervous. You're playing poorly. And I think that is something that is absolutely true. I don't want to take credit away from Team Wales because obviously they played incredible, but this is not the same. Yeah, both things can be true. BDS underperformed. Team Wales played very well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that was pretty much what plagued them the entirety of this game. You see every single fight that they approach, They're just scared to pull the trigger. You take a look at other fights where they're 5 versus 4, they're scared to play the game. I've seen a lot of play-ins, all right? And even as a minor region, when they show up and they get stomped, most of the time when it looks bad for them, it's because they're outclassed, but they're still trying. Backs against the wall, they team fight because their macro's not always the best. I have not seen a team just straight up stand there and just lose, because while there was really good plays coming out from Team Wales, BDS just did not play League of Legends at all in the third game. They stood around. They didn't look for windows. Sheo didn't get any ganks off in the early game either. We couldn't play around the Syndra stun too. I think that there was a lot of moments here where the same thing that plagued BDS in spring, where they lose one game, they completely lose it. That happened here. Like, I don't think you saw the right draft adaptations, and I certainly don't think like it felt like they connected to that game 3.
I mean, look, I've got one more replay from that game 3 that I do want to take a look at. It's again another frustrating team fight from the perspective of Team BDS. Maybe let's flip this, talk a little bit about what Team Wales did well, what we liked about their performance, because similarly, what BDS kind of didn't do much, Team Wales did push them. Team Wales did play the map.
Oh, absolutely. And I think every time that you see Artemis is just unlocked in a team fight, no one's touching him. Like, his spacing, the way that the team is playing around him, they buy so much ground as well. Glory under LeBlanc was super good with his sidestep every time on a Syndra QE. And I think in general, it's just way better team fighting from Team Wales. That is something where you have to give them credit. The team fights were phenomenal.
Yeah, I think Artemis is obviously they talk about being the player of the series, but he was the guy who they needed to kill, and they never once really got close to making that happen. He was incredible the whole time. I think Bay also had a better series than we were expecting. He had that really sick...
right at the beginning of the game.
Yes, exactly. That flash predict hook, which started the snowball for Artemis yet again. He is incredible, but it did have the rest of the team setting him up over and over again in Game 2 and Game 3.
Ultimately, Team Wales come away with a 2-1 victory, and I think Munch really put it well, bouncing back from what was an embarrassing defeat in Game 1 to then hand BDS 2 dominant losses in Games 2 and 3. Very, very impressive stuff.
Well, they also stopped playing the mini-game, the Adam mini. We kind of talked about that, where they did not opt into taking Ignite on their top laner, trying to out-Adam Adam. And when you start playing towards your strengths, I think that does go a long way towards that turnaround that you saw from Game 1 to Game 2 and 3.
Exceptionally well played. Team Wales pulling up a bit of a surprise. I mean, they're going to advance in the bracket. It will set us up then for Loud to face PSG and Oysters to take on Wales. Hang on, is that right?
Yeah,
Oysters.
The Battle of the Sea Life.
I hadn't put 2 and 2 together.
Tune in tomorrow for the Battle of the Sea. 2 giant whales
Sea
against
World,
the
coming at
Oysters.
you.
One
know
of
what?
them's flying.
This
It's
is
not the whales.
awesome.
They're still on the water.
Honestly, that is such a great combination of games.
I think it's really cool from Wales as well, just because they're bringing so much fresh talent as well from VCS. Remember that it's Glory Spend International. The same for Artemis as well. So it's just really huge to see these players are the ones that steps up as immensely as they have so far in this tournament. And I think, yeah, I'm super excited for that matchup.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe BeanJ is the only one to have any kind of international experience for this squad. So really, really cool to see Team Wales able to grab that one and force BDS down to the bot side of the bracket. I think, you know, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I would expect them to be favorites versus DFM, but who knows? It's the thing that happens after that when you're playing the loser of that PSG Loud matchup that's on the other side of the bracket.
You might get the Cloud9 treatment.
Oh, expand.
Yeah, what is the Cloud9
Yes,
treatment?
well, they didn't get knocked out by DFM, but there was that victory against Cloud9. You remember the Worlds?
Say what you will about North American play-ins.
Actually.
None of our seeds have ever lost in play-ins. And might I remind you, the Worlds qualifying series was not Worlds.
I hate that you have
So
the high
guess what?
roads.
North America has never lost in play-ins.
And so far haven't won either this year.
So rough. Honestly,
We're not
though,
in play-ins this year.
Honestly, though, the other thing as well is just a reminder that of all the play-ins teams, for both Team Wales as well as Team BDS, they were the first teams to make their debut. First organizations, first appearances. Now, I don't want to use that as a copium, right? But it was very clear that after Game 1, as soon as things started to go badly in Game 2, Team BDS did choke. Team BDS didn't perform. Goldberg, you called it out explicitly. Like, this is something we have seen. They went to that loser. I think it was after Mad, they just went all the way downhill, right?
Yes, they've had... I obviously don't know them too well behind the scenes in terms of how the communication looks like, but it does at times feels like they're a bit of an emotional team with the way that they're riding their highs when the game goes well, and then when it starts going poorly, the optimizations that comes through aren't just really there. And I think it obviously showed. You can pinpoint it pretty much a lot of the moments in the game. There's no need to really break it down. You know when you really look at it.
Yeah, and I think it's good then that they have the day off. The fact that the loser side of the bracket is not playing tomorrow. They will have this time to hopefully reset themselves if they are an emotional team, to look at those mistakes. And it's, again, not really like strategically did we do the right thing. It's like, guys, we got to play with more confidence. We need to actually go out there and make plays. And I think Adam was the only one who was still doing that, even though they were getting so overconfident, right? Yeah.
Well, listen, we're still waiting to get set up for the interview. While we do that, I'll touch a little bit on R7 versus Gamma. I think it's the only one of the matchups that we haven't exactly looked at. This is now a series that I think... until the result just came in, This was the series I maybe was a little more confused about, unsure how that was going to play.
We were saying today, like, you know what, the Plains isn't that hard to predict. I only thought this would be the hard series to predict. And
Oh,
you know,
that's right. Your first prediction is wrong.
Yeah, that's my first wrong prediction as well.
Mark, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah, why do you think I'm so emotional about this?
You were doing so good.
I know, until that happened.
Well, it also just throws everything in terms of the transitive property that people often use. The fact that Loud beat the first seed from the VCS, but then the VCS 2 seed beats
the 4 seed
Yeah,
from
so then
LEC.
like, is Brazil better than, you know, how good are they if they were playing in Europe? You know, you start getting all these like weird questions if you try and play it that way.
I will say, like, VCS in general was a bit weird as well. Like, Team Secret could have easily have been here. They took both GAM and Team Wales to 5 games every time in the upper and lower bracket. So, I mean, there is a bigger strength of the VCS region as well, just from what we've seen as well. And I highly recommend people to really go back and try and watch some of those games. They might not always be the prettiest, but I guarantee you'll be entertained.
Guarantee you'll be entertained. Okay, let's get some very quick thoughts on tomorrow's matchups before we round out today. When we look at PSG versus LAN, CFO versus TW, who's going to win and why? Don't play me off just yet. I want predictions.
PSG and CFO.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm probably going with the PCS hype train as well. No, actually, screw you. I'm going with Team Wales.
I'm going
The glory,
PCS
the grind, the glory. That's what we're going with.
Tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central European Summertime with the upper bracket MSI rematch between PSG Talent and Loud, followed by the Oceanic battle of Oysters versus Wales. We will see you then. Good night, goodbye, good afternoon, whatever time of the day it is. Thank you for watching. We'll see you then. Bye. Coming up, Els. Loud taking the 1 spot.
Arya could be stunned. One more auto, but they can't quite get in range. And Arya flashed on by Jimmy, but he doesn't finish the kill. He's not tanking, though. He gets a no! Just on the edge of range.
Out Arya to be there, it's tough, but they're looking for the dive.
Jimmy in trouble once again. The amount of times this man has been dived this game so far, and once again, there's just nothing he can do.
Look at this damage coming out from Rest as Apperman just trying to flip. What a prediction from Jimmy.
Farming up the storm, fantastic. He's got that mythic. We talked. Oh no, another hook. The silence is there as well. Shousy with his second kill of the game. Arya trying to get onto Shun, trying to find an assassination of his own, but he's knocked up and shouldn't be taken down. The Q can't quite finish the kill, but Shousy can. Could be in trouble again. Sheo is here, pulls them in, knocks them both up. The sustain is there, and BeanJ bleeds to death. Sparda's gonna be next. Is the Q coming back up quickness though?
Oh, but he channeled it just in time. The buffer is beautiful from Adam as he looks for a little bit more as well, and he still lives on. Adam is unstoppable.
I go next here. David, mid as well.
I go mid, I
Go next mid.
Yeah.
I'm tipping on top,
What's come to me?
Viego.
Vego.
Grab Viego. Grab Viego, raise it. Oh, you're OP Adam. You're a bit tanky.
Looking good for Wales so far, but the trade 1 for 1. And now the knockdown comes through. BeanJ obliterates, and Artemis is here to clean things up.
40 seconds time. 175.
Oh, what a prediction! And the Thunderstorm is there as well. The flash for the root. Artemis and BN take a bow. The TP's in from the solo laners. The hook is there. Glory on the backside. Looking for Nuke. Goes Golders to buy time for his team as everybody charges on in. And Artemis remains untouched. Adam goes down and Sparda finds his redemption. It's glory across the board.
The tenacity from Team Wales today. Grind it out.
Such a great video.
What's your play, guys?